Hey guys, thanks for joining in. So, got some conductor advice for all you new guys thinking about joining the railroad, or maybe you just came out OGT, and that is working at night. Guys, working during the day is already dangerous enough. And now when you got to take all your expected job duties and functions and do it at night, it takes it to a whole new level. So, we're going to talk about that today. Throw us a like and subscribe down below. And here we go. All right. So, working at night. This is always a fun one. Now, being a former first responder for 15 years, I always enjoyed working at night. But working at night brings its own set of difficulties that a lot of people don't think of, especially railroading. Some of these kind of caught me off guard a little bit. Some things to consider is that, obviously at night, if you're working in a yard or a siding, your lighting is either very limited to certain areas that may be well lit, or it may be non-existent at all, especially if you're out in the middle of nowhere, something happens with your train, you break a hose or a knuckle, and now you got to go walk it. It's pitch black in the middle of nowhere. It is dark, and you may or may not have the stars and moon to light your way. So that's something to keep in mind. Also, it is a proven fact that depth perception is drastically altered at night and in light level conditions. Also, the perception of speed is also skewed due to low lighting, or in some cases non-existent lighting, because you don't realize that our eyes and mind rely on contrast lighting, which means there is lighting on objects in the background of what you're focused on that gives your brain something to compare, size, distance, speed to. And at night, that's all gone away. There have been a lot of times that I discovered early on working the railroad, and let's say I'm having to shove a car into a set out track. I've started my engineer back. I hear the cars moving, but even with my lantern pointed at the car, it doesn't look like it's moving. And that's due to low light. My brain and my eyes don't have anything to lock on to process and compare what I'm focusing on to the objects around me to give me a sensation and a perception of speed and distance and depth. So what can you do to set yourself up for success? Here's what you can do. First thing you can do, carry more than just your lantern for lighting. A small LED flashlight, a headlamp for working hands-free, something that's bright and you can have multiple sources of light to look around and illuminate your work area. So lighting up your work area can go a long ways to improving your safety while you're out working, especially in the middle of nowhere. Can't stress that enough, and it will make your life so much easier. I live by having a headlamp at night. I still, by rule, have to carry a lantern for hand signals and stuff. That's fine. But being able to stick my lantern somewhere and then have a light shining down right on my work area and use both of my hands makes life and work out here so much easier. So one thing that I do when I'm doing a set out or something at night where light is almost non-existent, I carry a little blinking light, and I'll put a picture of it up here. Some places issue them. BNSF does when you're going through conductor school. They're called blinkies. It's just a basic LED light that blinks, a red one, and it's got some magnets on it, and you stick it to the ass end of a car or on a knuckle, whatever you want to do. I use that specifically for when I'm doing set outs at night, especially if I'm having to do a long shove, because I can see that blinking light moving a lot of times before I can actually get decent light onto the car I'm handling. So it's real good for giving you some kind of break that black wall curtain of no light, and then boom, all of a sudden here's a rail car in your work area. So that's something I personally like to do. It works really, really well. I just click that little blinky to where it's a solid, good to go. Makes life a lot easier. Another thing you can do when working at night, especially a siding set out track, something like that, especially working in the yard, go before you do anything, go double check your work area. Make sure there's no accidental air hoses or a mechanical derail somebody left out, from working on a car or, brake shoes, something. I can't count how many times I've actually found objects on the rails that could have caused a potential issue just by going and checking my work area real quick. It takes an extra five or so minutes to do. Just walk your work area, double check your switches, your derails, any kind of objects, things like that. And then that way, when you're doing this shove or this set out or this work, whatever it is, you're good to go. The other thing I kind of want to touch on here is I personally do not ride a shove at night unless I absolutely have to. And here's why. Because again, my light and what I can see is limited to by what my light can hit. Where during the daytime, I may be able to see, let's say, a mile. In this case, working in the middle of nowhere, I may only be able to see 300 foot in front of me. And so if I don't walk my area and I'm 100% sure that it's safe to do so, I'm not going to ride, because what if there's a close clearance object? What if there's a tree limb? What if a car door is open on a car on the adjacent track? There's so many different scenarios in which that can go bad. So unless you're 100% sure of the area you're riding on your pathway from point A to point B is 100% clear, don't ride it, walk it. You're not going to save that much time. Check your area before you ride, guys. Maybe slow it down. Especially at night, there's no hurry to get it done. Slow down, work safely, get it done right the first time safely and by the rules. You're good to go. And also, guys, communicate with your engineer. Communication is everything. Slow is safe, guys. Get her done, get it done safely, and go home and get ready for the next call. So, guys, I appreciate each and every one of you guys stopping by. And if you don't mind, go ahead, throw us a like and subscribe down below. Check out our link tree in the description. It's got all kinds of cool stuff linked on our Amazon. And we will catch you guys on the next one. Here we go.